Welcome everybody to LYN Live. That stands for Live Younger Now. And that is absolutely what we're doing. And tonight I have Cher Cormier. And who is that with you?
Leroy Brown.
And Leroy Brown. Cher Cormier is an animal communicator and a healer, and we have had so much fun talking about how to use these products. And Leroy Brown isn't going to hang out too much longer, so we need to have his story come first. Cher, do you want to open up with your first testimonial about Leroy Brown?
Well, he is a Yorkie, and his mama just shaved him, so he doesn't look like a Yorkie. But you all have seen him before. And he has really bad cataracts, as you can see. Yeah. But one eye was completely white. It was opaque. And I have been putting the iRevive right on the white part of his eye. I'm going to show you as a demonstration exactly how I do it. Okay. Just like that. He doesn't like it, but that's too bad. You just put it right on the eye. And then it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. Good boy. Good boy. Yep. And he's also getting iHeRQles because he has arthritis, and he kind of walks with a little, glitch. So I'll show you. When he sees the bottle coming, come on, do it again. That's it. And I do it on the tooth because his mama's not doing it at all. So he lives around the corner. So when I go to the grocery, I just grab him and I do his eyes and a squirt. And he's only 5 pounds. I mean, he's a mouse. He's so tiny. But I can tell you, you can see his eye is now blue. See, you can see. So it was completely white. And you can just see that it looks like the cataract is shrinking down. Don't kiss me with your sticky breath. Anyway, so he's getting both the products, and I can tell you the inflammation, the arthritis in this dog, he is walking so much better since he's been on iHeRQles twice a day for the inflammation and the arthritis. He's just a lucky boy.
Do you think there's any animal that shouldn't be using this? Or any pets we shouldn't be using this on?
No. No, because it's food for your body. And it's of course the iRevive is just herbs. So no, I think this is from God's garden for everybody, all of us.
I think anybody that has blood, because that's what it does. It goes in and it opens our circulation and cleans the blood. And when that happens, then everything starts moving. The immune system comes on and it starts supporting our own stem cell production. And those are the repair cells. So it doesn't matter if it's a person or a pet, this works for everything. So, Cher, you want to share a couple? I know you got new ones for us.
I do have new ones. I do. This is Lola, and Lola had she had some arthritis, and so we are putting, she also had a little bit of aggression, toward one of the owner's children. So we are putting stress and anxiety, and this shows you how to put it on the collar and put a little bit of tape around it. So that is Miss Lola.
I don't see her face.
Well, her face is down. And really, the mama sent me this to make sure she was putting the collar, the patch on the collar correctly. So Lola is, she's a retriever, and she's about 13. So stress and anxiety is calming her very much down.
So she's not being aggressive?
No, she was afraid of children. She was a little bit snappy and barky at children. And so now she's calm. And she's been on the patches every 3 days for the past 4 weeks now.
Oh, wow.
So the mama ordered a whole month's supply, which is $89. And this is a blue point. This is Teddy. A blue point, you can see. Beautiful cat. And Teddy is autistic.
How do you know that a cat is autistic?
Because when I talk to him, and I had several conversations with Teddy, the lights are on and nobody's home. That's a nice way to put it. They just don't answer the right way, and they are very slow at talking to me. Like it's taken a whole lot of time for them to process the question, which is not normal. And so we have Teddy on iHeRQles now for a year, and mental clarity and stress and anxiety, because I find that even animals that are autistic are very stressed out because they don't understand what's going on in their outer world. And so he's been very, very good lately. The latest word I heard was 2 days ago, and he's pottying in the litter box, and which is huge, and he's not hiding under everything. He's coming out. He sits on the window in the sun, which this cat is 3 years old and never did that before, ever. Was under the bed, under furniture, would not ever come out. So that's a big change.
That is major.
Yep. Now these two are my movie star.
Oh, they're beautiful.
They are in New York, and they are Bear and Thor. They are literally movie star dogs. I mean, they're in films, they're in all kinds of stuff. Very, very, very wealthy client. And they started to be aggressive with each other. They are siblings. Oh, and this has never happened. I've been working with them for about a year. And so the mom bought, both dogs are on the full 2X. They both have their 9 bottles. They both have their monthly stress and anxiety patches. And so they're fine. They're calm, they're chilled out. Right now they're in Florida for the summer. So that's Thor and Bear. Now this is sweet baby Nelson. And Nelson has
Been
a lot.
electrocuted. With like,
So Nelson, I hope you can see this. Nelson has no hair on his back,
Oh my gosh.
completely hairless. So I recommended iHeRQles, which she bought a 2X, and iRevive to go on the back, right on the whole ball back. And so, and that was 4 weeks ago. So I got to upgrade as soon as she didn't know I was at Dr. Joe Dispenza, but I got a call over there and she said that she sees the little fuzzies are starting to sprout on the back. So
Super.
he's on iHeRQles, Nelson is iRevive and stress and anxiety. And also I wanted her to get with my vet in New Orleans, Dr. Segura, and check out his diet because this could be also diet related. So that's
Well, this is the best food you can put in his little body.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And he is so adorable. She said, Cher, when he sees the bottle coming, he just opens his mouth. When he sees the bottle coming. So precious. Now, these two are brand new babies. This is Cora. Cora is a Yorkie. You can see that.
Yeah.
And she has been aggressive. She's had aggressive breakouts with her sibling, who is Butterball.
Aw.
Butterball. And so Corey has been aggressive with Butterball. So we did stress and anxiety, my favorite go-to, and iHeRQles. And so both of these guys, she said, well, maybe I should just give it to Corey because she's the one being aggressive. I said, no, because sometimes these animals will do telepathic teasing. And so we as humans don't see that, but they are telepathically teasing the other dog. So I said, both need to be on stress and anxiety. So far, it's only been a week since I'm back. And so far, she said, no incidents. That stress and anxiety is the best. I think it's the best.
You know, when my dog is 13, she golden doodle, and the older she gets, the more stressed she gets with storms and also fireworks. And the last time we had 2 hurricanes here a few months ago, and I put a stress and anxiety patch on her because she was sitting on my lap. This is a very big dog, shaking like a leaf. And within 10 minutes of putting the stress and anxiety patch on her collar on the left-hand side, just like we do for ourselves,
Yep.
she took a deep breath, laid down, and went to sleep through the rest of the storm.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
That's fabulous. Now, this one is also aggressive toward other intact male dogs. And his name is Houdini because he can escape. He jumps over a 6-foot fence. Well, first of all, I told the pet parent, we're going to change his name from Houdini because that's a very negative name. You don't want him to escape, but you're calling him Houdini. I mean, there's energy involved in this, of course. So she changed him to Cozy Caramel. She calls him CC for Cozy Caramel. Well, this is odd, Carrie. You're going to love this. I recommended stress and anxiety, but I also, when I had a conversation with this dog, he also was trying to escape the electronic tower that's on the corner of their home. So he was feeling all of the EMF. And so I said, okay, after talking to him, I said, let's put electronic chatter protection. He has not left the home since.
I know.
And I mean, you think that we don't feel it as much as our animals feel the EMFs with those big towers. So CC, or Cozy Caramel, has not left the home anymore. Now, I don't know, I don't know what she's going to do, if the dog is going to live with the patches on, because the tower is not going anywhere. And it's on the corner of their home. This one is Boots, because he has white feet. And Boots is a blue heeler. And this poor boy, this is my niece's dog, he has hot spots like everywhere in his body. It was horrible. I saw them for Christmas, and even in the winter, this dog was just ripping his skin. He's had allergy tests, he's had scratch tests. Nothing was working. He's allergic to everything. But allergy patch, he's fine. His hair, as you can see, his hair has grown back. He's beautiful. And I also said, you've got to exercise this dog. He's a blue heeler. He's a herding dog. So he's much better. And I think he'll have to live on the allergy patch. I think he has to have that. And for every 3 days, and my sister puts the date on it because she's 80 years old. She puts the date on the patch so that she can change it every 3 days. Now, this is Henry. Oh my goodness. Henry is a jumper. And his owner is 10 years old. Look at that.
Aw.
Precious. And Henry started to get nervous, and he would approach a jump and turn. He wouldn't jump. So, of course, you know what I said, stress and anxiety, because he is a performance. And here is the last show. You can see he's jumping. And I wish we would be able to zoom in, because we put it on the bridle, and he has one on as he's performing. He has one on his bridle. Stress and anxiety, one of my favorites.
And we don't think about our pets as being stressed, but that's a really good test, all these animals. It was the stress and anxiety that has worked so well for my dog as well.
Oh, yeah. And this one is Rebecca. And she's also on the Healy, but she's on iHeRQles twice a day, and she's on stress and anxiety. Because her brother is Sawyer, and they were starting to have aggression issues. And I've been working with these two for about 2 years now. But they are calm, no problem, nothing, not at all. And I think the iHeRQles, when it removes the inflammation because it's open and clean pipes, I think he is less irritable, because that arthritis is not an inflammation in his joints. He's not snappy because he's not in pain. So he's also pain and inflammation. When she sees him getting a little snappy, she puts pain and inflammation on his collar. So let me know if you want to take a break or you want to have live people on.
Is that all of your, or do you
No,
have more?
I have a stack.
You know, what I would, I think probably one of the funniest ones that I ever heard was when, and maybe you have an update on the goldfish.
Oh my God. Um, I haven't talked to her in about 6 weeks, but she has more little goldfish in this great big aquarium she has in her home. And so we'll see how those other little goldfish get to be. I mean, Jeffrey is, I mean, he's over a foot long, Jeffrey, and he's 20 years old. And that tumor or whatever he had on his side, when we put pain and inflammation on the aquarium glass, he just rubbed up against that glass so much that his scales were worn off. But the tumor in 6 weeks was gone, completely gone. Whatever that was, we don't know. But it was gone. And
Well,
Jeffrey,
that is one of my favorite stories because if anybody had asked me, how do you do a fish? I would not have come up with that. Somebody's asking, tell me, how do you do a cat?
well, I just put it on their collar. Same thing. I just put it on their collar. And if you don't have a collar, go buy one and just put, is it an inside cat or an outside cat?
I don't know. That's Jenny.
Jenny. Okay.
Inside.
Oh, inside cat. Well, that's easy, baby. That's real easy. Just put a collar with a little scotch tape. And as long as it's 3 inches from their body, it's going to be fine. Yeah. Oh, is this being recorded? Yes, it is. Always.
Um, yeah, but she's asking, can we, I will probably put it on my Cares Wellness Spray community. So if you're already using the products and you're not in my Facebook group, go in and ask to join. If you're not in using these yet, we won't let you in. This is because we have so many testimonials and things. We have to be extremely careful. But I'm planning on having, when Donald comes tomorrow, to have him put this on my YouTube channel so I can put it in my Facebook group. So you'll be able to, you just can't share it from there. You just can't share it from there. The name of my Facebook group is Cares, that's Kare apostrophe S, Wellness Spray Community. And if your name is different in Facebook than it is in your NuXtrax group, then you have to put what your real name is in NuXtrax. Otherwise, we won't let you in because we got to be really, really careful.
And that's really, really smart.
Well, we're getting to the point where we're big. We're getting big. We're reaching that level where we're going to be looked at more and more and more. So we have to be extremely careful. That's why almost everything we do is live. Live is easy because then it's gone. And
Yes.
but if something gets put on Facebook, just on or in any media, and it can live forever, then you got to be really, really, really careful. So,
Yeah.
somebody was asking me today about cocoa. You know, many of you have heard my story about the horse's hoof that had the big crack in it. And within a matter of 2 weeks of using the spray on the food, now Cher's been spraying it in the animal's mouth, but most people just spray the iHeRQles on the animal's food. And you figure like one spray for every 20 pounds of animal. Um, well, not so true with a horse because they're like 1,000 pounds. So what this gentleman had heard one of Cher and my presentations and had this horse that had a crack in its hoof, and this was a multi-million-dollar racehorse. And they've never been able to heal that crack. They put the horses down. And he had been using iHeRQles on himself and had listened to Cher and I talk about animals, and having, such amazing recoveries. So he started spraying 10 sprays morning and evening on the horse's food. And within 2 weeks' time, that crack healed up. Now, when I got a copy of that picture, the thing that excited me was that proved to me that this is quantum nutrition. Quantum means it can be a particle or a wave. And when I spray iHeRQles under my tongue, it's going into my body as a quantum particle. But there is no blood flow in a horse's hoof. So how the heck did it get in there and heal it in 2 weeks' time? Because this is quantum nutrition, and it got in as a quantum nutritional wave. Now, extrapolate that to other things in people's bodies that you kind of have to, that wall themselves off so nutrition and oxygen can't get in, and toxins and plastic particles can't get out. And this can get anywhere. So the reason I told you about that was, in case anybody hasn't heard that story before, I want to show you something. Let me share this, do a little screen share here. I want to tell you about this little dog. Can you see him?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So this woman, Peggy, had this little dog named Coco, and for 2 years, this dog was totally paralyzed from his front legs back and could only drag himself around. Their vet wanted to put him down, and they just couldn't do that. So for 2 years, this dog they had to carry him to go to the bathroom. They had to do everything for him. And she saw that program that I did and talked about the horse and started spraying iHeRQles on her dog's food. And this is what she sent me after, again, 2 weeks. And let me just play this. All right. This is him standing up for the first time.
Oh, I love it, Kare.
Look at him. I have another video of him actually running around the yard, but I don't know what I did with that one. But he couldn't do, they said his back legs were like noodles.
Wow.
I mean, I I really went digging for that one, and I wish I had the other one too, and I called her today and I said, "How is the dog doing?" Because this was maybe a year and a half ago. And she said, "Oh, you would never know that there was anything wrong." And they were gonna, the vet wanted to put it down because there was absolutely nothing that could be done. So, got any more?
We can't say that anymore.
No,
Absolutely nothing.
nope. But I wanted to show you that because I haven't used that on this show anymore, but oh shoot. Oh shoot. Um, tell a couple more stories. Do you have a couple more?
Okay, this is my Asha, and she was an outside cat. Now she's permanently inside, and she gets a squirt, and she gets iRevive on a couple of little spots where she's missing a little few hot spots. So she's on the iRevive, and of course, iHeRQles. This one is Freeway, and he he was found under a car on the freeway, literally. So he had trauma because of being on a freeway, and the car was broken down. The cat was under the hood in the engine someplace. And so wouldn't come out, was hiding everywhere, under chairs, under beds. And so my friend Dulcie found him and rescued him and brought him home. And so he's on iHeRQles and stress and anxiety. And I talked to her the other day, and he's starting to come out again, you know, which I said, just keep stress and anxiety and iHeRQles for a while, at least a good month, because that's pretty traumatic, for a cat to be on a expressway, much less under a car. And this very last one is Petrie. Petrie is a herding dog, and he has gotten very, very aggressive with the owner. The female owner is had knee surgery, so she's not able to move around right now. And this dog has just gotten very aggressive. And so I told the dad, we want stress and anxiety, iHeRQles, and exercise. I mean, this is a herding dog in an apartment. You cannot do that to an animal. You can expect problems. So he's been on this for about a week, so we'll see. But I really think exercise, iHeRQles, stress and anxiety as a combination for a herding dog. He really needs to be out there herding animals, whether it's chickens or sheep, or he's in Louisiana, in Baton Rouge. So, I mean, you can find stuff if you're really creative. So that's all I got.
So my dog, Chloe, chases my chickens around and the squirrels. We've got a couple acres, and she just runs like a puppy, but she's 13, and 2 years ago she tore the cruciate ligament in her back knee to the point where I took her to the vet, and the vet said, "Oh, she'll never walk. She'll never walk. She needs a $7,000 operation, and then you have to keep her from jumping on a bed or the couch for like 6 months." I mean, yeah, right. And I didn't do it. I just upped the amount of iHeRQles that she was using, and she started to walk with a limp. And then, I mean, that was like a year or two. I mean, I don't have much sense of time. It was a while ago. And you would never know that she was never supposed to walk again. She runs like the wind and is just amazing. So, yeah.
That's fabulous. I would not do surgery. I would not do surgery. Mm-mm.
Oh, Cher, tell the aggressive bird parrot story with the new wife.
Oh,
That's from Kim.
from Kim. Well, the wife, a friend of mine in Covington, he had this bird. It's one of the big ones, like the macaws, the big macaws. And so they can be pretty intimidating. Anyway, he's had this bird for 15 years. He adores it. It talks to him, it loves him. It's a big love affair between the parrot and the man. So now he gets married. And this bird is so jealous of that wife that he will chase her. She's afraid of this big bird. The beak is like this. Anyway, so he calls me in a panic. He said, Cher, I don't know what to do. She wants me to get rid of my bird. I'm not getting rid of my bird. I don't want to get rid of my wife. I don't know which way to turn. Can you help me? So I had a conversation with the parrot, and we decided to put stress and anxiety on the cage, and only let him out when the husband was home. And so that bird would come out on the table while they were eating and sit right next to the husband and nibble on the husband's food on the plate. But I mean, it took maybe 3 months of stress and anxiety, but that bird is not aggressive toward the wife anymore. But it took 3 months of every 3 days changing that patch on the cage, not even on the bird. Just
Yeah,
to
these
get on the
patches
cage.
just need to be in the energy field. Just like our sleep patches, we put them in the pillowcase.
Yeah.
Um, or the energy patch. I mean, you just stick it in your pocket, but they don't have to be stuck to the body, or they don't have to be stuck to yeah. So let's see, is there anybody, Candy, can you tell your dog's story? And anybody else that has a pet testimonial, raise your hand and Donald will make you a presenter. We'd love to hear your stories. We told you our good ones. We still have a few others, but we'd like to hear yours. There's Candy. Unmute yourself.
I'm coming. Takes a second here. Hi. So I think Cher has something to share with me about my golden. I keep getting a little nudge that maybe you do. But he's 13 and a half years old. His name's Nakota. And back in October, when I learned about the product and I placed my order. A couple weeks before that, he very suddenly lost use of his back legs. He was unable to stand at all and very suddenly went blind and deaf. Today, knowing what I know, I'm guessing it was just excessive toxicity. So, I started him. Well, there was more to that story. Even when I would help him get up, every time he'd walk, he would fall. And that was scary because he's like 100 pounds. I mean, he's probably less now, about 90, but he would just fall. And he would fall. We have two concrete stairs going down to the grass, and he would fall going down and coming back up. And it was hard on me. There was one time I'm in Utah, so we have bad winters, and he fell in the snow, couldn't get up. He was freezing, laying his bare stomach on the snow. I'm in my slippers and robe. I run out. It was like 10 inches of snow. I'm trying to help him get up, but his back legs he couldn't lift them enough to even get through the snow. So I'm literally almost snow plowing with him, behind me. Like I was quivering. It took me so much effort and strength to get him back across the yard. Of course, he had to go the furthest part of the yard and up the stairs and into the house. Then he was a complete snowball. So I just laid him right in front of the heater and cranked it up. But it was a really hard time. We had some hard times there. And after 3 days on iHeRQles, he started standing on his own, laboriously, but standing on his own. And then just gradually every single day it got better. And he's no longer falling. It did start pushing, I think, a lot of stuff out through his skin. So he's got a lot of gross, like, moles, warts, whatever you want to call them, scary spots, basically. But some of them are healing. I'm seeing them like some blood, some drying up.
Mhm.
And I think it's just a matter of a couple months and they'll probably all be gone. He does have some cyst on him that seem to be softening. So I think he was very close to the end of life. And this has quite literally turned him around.
Wow.
So when you have animals, you know, humans, I don't want to say don't always tell the truth, but not everybody believes them. But you really can't make it up with pets when you watch that. And so, regardless of what happened to me and my body, watching him and what he has experienced and gone through was beyond amazing and miraculous because pets don't respond to placebo, they don't lie, and they show you exactly the state of their health. So it's been quite miraculous to watch what's happened to him and so quickly too. And Jim told me it's because animals, um, their what does it care? Their
Metabolism.
Metabolism?
metabolism is like 3 times faster. So
Eight,
it
eight.
just pushes it just pushes that product right through their system really quickly. And he's happy now. He actually wags his tail. And once in a while, he's still not thrilled, but once in a while, he goes back to his tennis ball and he's happy about it. But for probably 10 months, he had just given up tennis balls. And
Ah,
I'm telling you, for a golden retriever to give up their tennis balls,
that's
something's up.
that's depressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And when we go camping, I knew last year we left the camp spot, right after Labor Day. And I told my daughter, I said, this is probably his last summer here. And I wanted to cry because he loves going.
Uh,
But here we are. Might get a few more years out of him.
well, I'll tell you a story kind of similar. My next door neighbor, or actually, Josh is my next door neighbor, but his next door neighbor, their dog, big old mutt. We don't know what a little bit of everything. One day just laid down, quit eating, quit drinking, quit walking. They took him to the vet, and the vet said, he's got a enlarged heart, the organs are shutting down. He's probably got a day or two. Well, these people, the neighbor's son, had just been killed in a motorcycle accident by a drunk driver. And I thought, oh my God, that dog is going to die during the funeral. They hadn't had the funeral yet. So I told Josh to take over a bottle of iHeRQles and just tell them, spray, since he wasn't drinking water or eating, to go ahead and just spray it in his mouth like every hour or two, that it would make him more comfortable. That's all we said. And I was hoping it would give him extend his life a little bit. So Josh goes over to their house the next morning, knocks on the door. They open the door. The dog is there with his tail wagging. 3 months later, they were having a birthday party in their front yard for one of their grandbabies. And that dog was running around with those little kids like a puppy. You know, you hear these stories and you think, oh my gosh. But
So one of the things Jim told me though, when I talked to, Jim was on one of your classes and I had told Nakota's story, he said basically it's the same thing that happens with us. He was no longer getting blood flow to his hindquarters. And when I started spraying, that helped open up all the circulation. He got blood flow to those hips and back legs, and miraculously, he could use them again. And that's what we're seeing in people too. Like it's the same thing. Maybe we take longer because of our metabolism slower. And the older we get, the slower it gets, right? So it just makes so much sense. And it's so beautiful and so divine. And to think that this has been around for 5 years and we didn't know about it. And I lost other babies during that time. But I'm so glad to have it for this one. And these poor animals, they're surrounded by toxins. I mean, most people fertilize their yards and stuff. We don't. But, they're exposed to those toxins of fertilizers, their chemtrails, all that aluminum's falling on the grass. They're laying on it. They're surrounded by it. I mean, I fed him kibble when he was younger because I didn't know better. It's straight poison. It's just not good. And when you know better, you do better. But until you know, you don't do better.
yeah,
But we could save a lot of animals and save them a lot of suffering together with all the humans out there.
absolutely. Everybody needs this, from newborn babies to people over 100 and every single one of our pets. Jane asked a question in the Q&A. I'm getting my 10-pound rat terrier spared. I think that means spayed on Friday. Would iHeRQles be beneficial for healing? Share.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was reading Kim. I was reading Kim. Um, which which one? I'm sorry.
She said
Um,
oh, you can't see it there. She put it in the Q&A. Never mind. I'll answer it.
Okay. I
Yes.
can't see it.
Yes, of course. This is this hits at the root cause of every issue. It opens up the circulation so that and Mr. C, the head of the science team, calls that having open pipes every day. You know what that spells, don't you? It gives us hope. So it opens up the pipes so that nutrition and oxygen can get in, and toxins and plastic particles and inflammation can get out. You think that would help your dog recover faster? And then it cleans the blood, boosts the immune system, stimulates our own stem cells. You know what stem cells do? They repair things. So after surgery, what could be better than this? And just spray it on your dog's food. Like if most people feed their dogs morning and evening, just spray it on their food morning and evening. That'll keep it in the bloodstream all day long. And absolutely, that is the best thing you can do. And there's this whole little thing over here going on in the chat about how toxic tennis balls are. Oh, is there anybody else that's got a testimonial about their pets? Raise your hand and Donald can. Meanwhile, Cher, can you tell about the boa constrictors?
Oh, yes. Would you like some pictures? I have them.
Sure.
I have a call.
And Melissa, Donald, Melissa has some testimonials. Oh, and Lana is there too. Okay,
Oh, wonderful.
good.
Hi, everyone. Yes, I have two of them to share.
All
And it's
right.
actually kind of funny. My mom has a cat. She's about 16 years old. and she's like a little neurotic and moody. Um, she's kind of an old biddy, but I've noticed that her mood is much more loving, and she used to be pretty much just a one person to love on her, and she used to like hiss at everybody else. So now she's more open to being touched by others. But what's really funny is she'll literally drink out of the water bowl with her right paw. She'll dip it in the water bowl and then she'll drink. And then she'll dip it in the water bowl and then she'll drink. It's the most funniest thing. And then my grandpuppy, Bosco, he's 5. He's a miniature Dachshund. I've used the iRevive on the bottom of his paw because he likes to go walking really fast and he likes to pretend sometimes that he's a mushing dog and he's doing an Iditarod. And so he cut open the bottom of his pad and it was bleeding. And so I took the iRevive cream and I put it on there, and the next morning it was all cleared up and it was just perfect. And he wasn't complaining of any pain or limping. And then recently, his mom took him in to get a teeth cleaning. And so they put him under sedation and they put an IV in his right foot. And like 2 days later, he wakes up and he could hardly even walk on that front right foot. And he just looked so sad and you could tell he was in pain. And so I immediately gave him a spray of iHeRQles. And then I put his harness on him and I put a pain and inflammation patch on him. And within like 10 minutes, he was walking around happy. You could see like this big smile in his face, wagging his tail, out in the backyard, running along the fence, barking at the dog behind us that he just loves to bark at. I call him yelling at his friends. So, um, but yeah, it was like nothing had happened. It was so amazing. It was so
Awesome.
cool to see how that worked with him.
Yeah, so fast. I love
Yeah.
it. I put this on my dog's pads as well because she gets itchy and is, lick, lick, lick. And I put that on, and you don't have to be afraid that for them to lick it off
Mm-mm.
because it's food.
Yeah. And we put the
Nothing that you
iHeRQles
get
spray in their water bowl.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But anything you're going to get from a vet is going to be chemical, drugs. And
Yeah. And that's a funny story because my dad's a veterinarian of 30 years and I'm still trying to like get him to open up to looking at this, but that's a whole different thing. And trying to get my daughter to back off the vaccines on him because
oh,
he's just miserable. But what can you do? All I can do is just love him and try to support him however I can. Us Grammys sometimes have to sneak stuff into our grandbabies.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Melissa.
You're welcome. Thanks, Kare.
Lawner's got his hand up over here. Can you join us, Lawner?
Yeah, thanks a lot. Love this. I tell people I'm 51% canine, so a lot of people on sidewalks with their dogs end up being late to their next appointment because of me, But anyhow, I'm also a backcountry guide in the Grand Canyon, have been. And so my statement here is really about the larger picture, kind of tying into what Candy already kind of expressed, but I wanted to expand on a little bit. I've been in the energy healing field for 40 years. I'm doing a hands-on form that's like acupuncture without the needles. It works in that realm. You just use the fingertips on acupuncture points, basically. And I've used it on, when a bird's hitting windows, fish. I've used it when I was diving in Cozumel on lobster and, giant rays and horses, cats, dogs, wild rabbits. Once a deer got hit on a country road and I went and put my hands on the deer. You got to be careful. I'm not advocating, don't do this at home. But, other animals that have ended up in a trauma of some kind, it goes on, for 40 years. Our family pets, I always say they got more of this particular hands-on art than the children, which is actually a fact. But the thing is, for those that want more trials and more study, that want to see the science, that are skeptical, etc., just like has been expressed here. The animals, they can't lie. They can't not show the benefit. They're absolutely innocent. They're absolutely pure, and they're immediate. So, I wanted to just bring that out because I could also share a lot of individual stories here too, beyond just the couple I referred to. But animals are so responsive to energy. When you walk in the forest and the birds are still singing and you see an animal, you can know that you're in the right state of mind because they feel your energy. But if you're walking and you're disturbed or upset or yakking with your friends, you don't hear the birds and the animals, please don't consider yourself a good wildlife citizen, scientist, surveyor of animal and bird populations. you know, so it's the animals are incredibly sensitive on so many levels that we probably can't really understand it as modern humans, but we can trust them. If you want, I can't think of a better laboratory for energy, any energy healing work than animals. And I can't wait to really start using this with dogs on the sidewalk, with strangers if they permit me, or whatever the situation is. I'm really looking forward to using NuXtrax products with the critters. So thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. What a great reminder. Thank you, Lonner. Cher, did you find the
Yes,
boa constrictors?
I do. This is a big boa. This is a female. And they wanted to mate with the male, which is much bigger than she is. And so my client had me talk to her and explain to her that the big male's not going to hurt you. We just want to make some babies. Well, she wasn't having it at all. So we decided to put, again, this is Kinshasa, put stress and anxiety on the aquarium. And it took about 2 or 3 months, but we have
Aw,
14 beautiful babies.
14.
14 beautiful. I love snakes. I love them. I was raised with snakes. I had a boa constrictor, and yeah, and so that was the most beautiful baby.
Aw.
And so yeah, it took a little bit, but she was relaxed enough to let the male, the big scary male, mate with her. And so, I mean, that it works on all animals. It doesn't matter if they're a reptile, a bird, a fish, it's all energy work and the most fabulous food and frequencies on the planet. And we are so blessed to have that in our hands.
Absolutely. I have one more thing I want to share with you. Let me see. Share sound. Can you see this is Chloe.
Pets. Spray it on their food.
Wait, hold on.
Hi, I'm Chloe. Don't forget to give iHeRQles to your pets. Spray it on their food or in their water. They will love you for it.
Adorable.
Hi, I'm Chloe.
Sorry.
Okay, we have a question. What can I put on our fish tank to help the fish's bodies, which have these growths that supposedly just happen? They are goldfish. I would put pain and inflammation, definitely. The pain and inflammation patch on the aquarium. Don't you think, Kare?
Absolutely. And we had somebody else that listened to that last one where you had talked about the fish, and she had fish that they would have babies, but the males would eat them. They'd never gotten any to survive. And she put, I think it was a stress and anxiety patch. It may have been, but she put one of the patches on the tank and they had babies everywhere that they weren't stressed. It was probably stress and anxiety. They weren't stressed, so they weren't eating the babies. And she has a whole tank full of new fish.
Yeah, that was a great story too. And the male fish could protect the babies because the other fish weren't so stressed out that they were eating them all. Everybody was chilled in the whole aquarium.
Yeah. So I I do too. I do too. So we are at the top of the hour. I love doing this. The animal stories are always the best of the best. And they need it. They need it as much as we do. I don't know. I'm trying to read and talk at the same time. Anyway, Cher, thank you so much for coming and sharing your amazing stories, and Candy and Melissa and Lonner, thank you for sharing your stories. This just keeps getting better and better, and we'll do this again in about 6 weeks, and I'm sure we'll have a whole lot of more new ones. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, my chicken had a bad foot. I think they call it funky foot, and he was just limping around. And I washed it off and I put on iRevive, and the next day he was fine. You know, it's like there's nothing that can't use this as long as they have blood. And that's what I've been saying, but you know, that makes me wonder because I mean, snakes have blood, but it's a whole different thing, isn't it? I mean,
Well,
they're
they're
blood.
cold-blooded, but they still have blood.
Yeah. So I guess it works with whether you're warm-blooded or cold-blooded. If you got blood, it works. And if you don't have blood, the frequency is probably going to work. So anyway, thank you all for coming. Feed this to your pets. Every one of them, they all need it. And if you've got any sick pets, you'll be back here next time telling your stories, because these products are gifts from God's garden, and they work for us and our furry family and our finned and feathered family too. So blessings, everybody. Thank you so much, Cher. That was fun.
It's always fun, always.
Always fun. Oh, and somebody wanted to know where you got your shirt. If you call Joshua, it's my daughter-in-law that makes those. So, anyway, blessings, everybody. See you next time. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time, I do a presentation. And then after that, Joshua does the compensation plan overview. And then Thursday night, Dr. James does the presentation, 8 o'clock Eastern time. That's and he does a how do you launch your business at 9. And then so that was Thursday. Friday, there's nothing. Saturday, it's sharing. And she always talks about animals as well as doing a regular presentation. Sunday, Raymond and Karen do a presentation, but on Sunday night, I do a big Zoom. It's not on LYN Live, but you can get it from my Facebook group or from your upline. And that I go over the science and the history. I do a little presentation, but then we do an hour and a half of testimonials, and they will knock your socks off. So come barefoot. So anyway, blessings, everybody. Talk to you next time. Spray and pray. Bye, everybody.